Good evening, all you sim race fans out there, and welcome to BRL TV's Round 2 coverage of the street stocks in the Bootleg Racing League's all-new Sportsman Series. I am Ryan Seneker, and up with me in the booth, as always, is Matt Hoos. We're coming to you tonight live from the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway over in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. And we're going to be bringing you all the action this Saturday night, July 22nd, 2023. All the way back in 1994, a racing revolution was born known as the Bootleg Racing Series. Using the Papyrus sim racing software and mods for short track racing, BRS burst onto the scene, leaving tracks of excitement in its wake. Every race was intense as the drivers pushed the limits of their virtual machines, but when the curtains fell on Papyrus, the BRS seemed destined to fade away. However, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the series returned with a vengeance in 2013. As the Bootleg Racing League ready to dominate the sim racing world once again. Now embracing the iRacing platform, BRL unleashed its full potential, taking on the most iconic American short tracks with a renewed passion. And that brings us to where we find ourselves today. Stafford Motor Speedway was founded in 1870 as a horse racing track and transitioned to automobiles in the 1930s. This half-mile oval features semi-banked corners, those being 9 degrees in turns 1 and 2 and 7.5 degrees in turns 3 and 4, making it ideal for short track racing. Tonight's starting grid will be determined by a 5-minute, 4-lap average qualifying session, setting up the running order for the 15-lap heat races. The top 6 from each heat will advance straight to the 50-lap feature race, while the remaining drivers will go to the B-main constellation. There are no faster pairs, no tire changes, so the drivers will have to take care of their equipment as the night goes on. And finally, caution laps during any of the events will not count. The only caveat to that is the feature race does have a strict 30-minute time limit to not conflict with the start time for the Late Model Invitational Series, which comes up tonight directly after this series over on the Virtual Grip Network. And now, with all the formalities out of the way, welcome again to Stafford Motor Speedway and into the world of BRL, where speed is king and victory is your ultimate prize. Let me hand it over to my boothmate, Matt Hoos. Matt, what can we expect to see here tonight?
Well, Ryan, good to be with you again, and the people out there watching this, good to have you here. Stafford's it's a flat track, single groove, puts on good shows, but it does have its stinker races every now and then, let's be honest. But tonight, I always look forward to these type of races here with the heat races and the feature and everything. It's a longer night of racing, gives all these guys chances to practice with the car a little bit, get ready for the main event, all that. So I'm expecting a good race here tonight out of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is very much a single groove track, which can go either way. If you got the lead, that's where you want to be. The single groove, it's going to be hard to pass. Passing's going to be at a premium all night. So the people coming from the back are going to have a much harder time getting there. However, with tonight being qualifying, which is not typical to BRL, that means the fast guys are going to be up front from the get-go. So not only is it hard to pass here, but those guys who are already hard to pass on any track, it's going to be near impossible tonight. Now, as we have roughly a minute left in qualifying, this is normally the part where you'd be expecting us to bring you up to speed on the current point standings, but with the rotating car roster each week, and this being only the second round for the street stocks, there really isn't much to talk about yet. J.R. Shepard took the checkered flag in the last round, so obviously he got the most points. He is your current leader. James Tiernan, Kenny Kibbe, they're right behind him running second and third. And tonight, I think you're going to start to see a lot more separation in the points, depending on how it turns out.
Yeah, tonight the heat races don't count for points, but they do count for your position heading into the feature. And, we do invert from our qualifying. So you're going to have the slower guys in the front, faster guys in the back. So we're going to see a lot of passing going on in these heat races. So, but this track, it might lend itself to them fast guys not being able to get to the front. So we could see a little bit of a mix-up in the feature.
That would definitely bring some excitement. Now let me walk you through our starting grid for heat number 1. Nathan Guilford in the number 44, well, he's on the pole, with Brandon Litz to his outside. John Wilson and Brian Johnson are row number 2. Brennan Myers, he is going to be starting in 5th, with Matt Chinoski to his outside in 6th. With Bruce Pearson in 7th, Donnie Moore in 8th, and J.R. Shepard is going to round out this 9-car field. And as Matt pointed out, let's see how long it takes JR to actually work his way through this long field. You know some fast names in here. John Wilson is no slouch in the street stock. You also have Matt Chinoski, Donnie Moore, Bruce Pearson. These are not people that J.R. Shepherd can just ignore.
No, it's not. These guys all have speed, so it's not going to be a cakewalk for JR trying to get from the back to the front in this. And I actually expect John to do quite well starting on the pole of this. He's showing some definite potential here as of late.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan Guilford did not put a time in qualifying, got an EOL. He'll be starting from the back. That gave the lead to John Wilson, number 75. All right, the cars will come down one more time before the green flag drops. They have 15 laps. Cautions are on. Cautions do not count. All right, pulling in turn 3. There you see the pace car skirt on down to pit road. It is now on John Wilson to start anywhere outside of turn 4. And Wilson gets on the throttle. There he goes. He is off and quickly clears ahead of Lit. Lit says, we have a bit of a checkup up front. 3 wide right off the bat, and it did not end well.
3 wide into turn 1 here. Nah, ain't gonna go.
It looks like all cars did recover. They are still running, although scattered now. Who that really did a favor for is the man that did not need the favor. That is J.R. Shepherd. He is up to 3rd, already with an eye on 2nd after that kerfuffle there. And just like that, Shepherd is up 7 spots and has his sights set on Brendan Myers in the lead. Brian Johnson of 00 has pulled off. He might have got some damage out of that incident, and he looks like he is retiring from the heat. Hopefully he has more luck later on in the consolation. Matt Chinoski is really pressuring Litz there in the 99, looking to take away that last podium spot. Like we said earlier, the top 6 will advance directly a feature. Right now, John Wilson was able to hold on to that coveted 6th spot. And there is no pressure from behind. So it looks like Wilson will advance at this point. Shepherd's looking to the inside of Myers, looking to take that spot away. Has the nose in going into the corner. And will definitely take away the lead, pulling away from Myers right off the go. Myers tries to do a bit of a crossover, but not able to get his nose to the inside as Shepherd holds that position. 5 laps down, Shepherd up front. It did not take him nearly as long as I thought it would.
No, when the gates kind of, or the floodgates kind of open there, he just skirted on through and unfortunately didn't have to work real hard to gain any spots.
No, he didn't have to work at all. Matt Chinoski, Bruce Pearson, and John Wilson all got around Brandon Litz. You just saw on your screen. Litz back to 6th. He is now in the transfer spot. Chinoski up to 3rd. And looks like under a lot of pressure from Pearson in the 22. And you see further back, right behind Litz there, that is the 26 of Donnie Moore. He was caught in that incident, as he gets very loose in the corner, he was caught in that incident early on, and he has been working hard to reel the 6th place back in, but I think that little slide there might have cost him everything, as he just lost another half a second on Litz. Real battle going on right now. That is the 22 of Bruce Pearson. He has his eye on that coveted 3rd spot. Matt Chinoski right ahead of him in the 31, defending best he can. And ahead of them, that is the 25 of Brendan Myers.
Yeah, Brendan Myers having a good run tonight up there in 2nd.
Yeah, Myers was a long-time BRL driver. Took a bit of a break for, I want to say, about a year, and he is back now this season and really showing his strength. Pearson continues to stalk Shinosky, but not able to actually get an opening to the inside. And I'm willing to say at Stafford, you're not going to see much passing to the outside here. These corners are far too flat to get any good speed coming out of these corners if you're not tucked in tight.
Yeah, the outside really only works on a start or a restart, and you really have to crowd that guy inside for it to even work at that point.
Shepard comes around to start lap number 12. 4 laps to go. He has a strong 2-second lead on Brendan Myers. Myers still in second place, but losing the gap quickly to Matt Shinosky in third. You see Myers get loose there coming out of turn 2. And Shinosky got loose in turn 3.
Yeah, tonight looks a little bit different there than Friday night did. We had a lot of guys spinning out. I don't know if it's they had a little practice with it, or the track's a little cooler today, give them a little more traction.
Yeah, I would say last night in the Street Stock Series, they ran 50 laps here, and I think that was a little warning of things to come. And they've learned to be a lot easier on the throttle here on corner exit. Shepard further extends that lead now over 3 seconds on Brendan Myers, as Myers is under a lot of pressure from Shinosky and Pearson. Coming around to take the white flag, that was J.R. Shepard. Coming around turn 2. Pretty unbeatable so far. Let's see what happens when he is paired up with other fast drivers such as himself. With drivers such as Kenny Kibbe, Austin Belke, and James Tiernan on the field tonight. Anything could happen.
Shinosky's making a pass for second.
Oh, Brandon Myers went way high, got up in the wall. That gave it over to Shinosky. Takes second. Pearson gets round into third as J.R. Shepard takes the checkered flag. All right, and now advancing directly will be J.R. Shepard, Matt Shinosky, Bruce Pearson, Brendan Myers, John Wilson, and Donnie Moore was able to overtake Brandon Litz in the end. Brandon Litz, Nathan Guilford, and Brian Johnson will all go to the consolation race. And that brings us to heat race number 2, another 9-car field. We have Chris Hazlip on the pole, Tom Hilbert in second, Steve Hilbert, the younger of the two Hilbert brothers, in the number 52. He'll be starting in third with Bobby Hayes to his outside. Todd Liston will be in fifth with Joe Segala to the outside, and row number 4 will be Trey Bloom and Austin Belke. Rounding out the 9-car field tonight will be the always quick James Tiernan. And it looks like we have another mulligan for qualifying times as Chris Hazlip receives an EOL. That gives the pole over to Steve Hilbert. Now the Hilbert brothers are sharing the front row.
I think Hilbert, he has had some good races here in the recent history. I think with him being on the pole, he could have a good run here if he can keep it together.
Oh, he definitely could. Steve is not the driver you count out when it comes to street stocks. He has been getting faster and faster every season. All right, as I come around one final time, let's clarify for the viewers at home. These EOLs, you see these drivers getting on the pole, if they do not set a time in the qualifying session, they cannot advance to the pole in the invert. So just to make sure people aren't trying to cheat the system, if you don't set a qualifying time, you start in the back. Pace car has pulled down pit road, is now on the Hilbert brothers. As Steve gets a nice jump. Todd Liston following on up into second. Liston got a little bump there from the 32 of Trey Bloom. Went down low, recovered. And now we have another 3-wide, almost 4-wide situation in the back between Liston, Segala, Belke, and Hazlip. Or correction, Hayes, not Hazlip. More contact between Segala and Liston. Both go down into the grass. No caution as they are not on the racing surface. Segala gets turned around, gets going again. Liston is already back going. And that gives a proverbial transfer spot over to Austin Belke, who is in the middle of battling for Bobby Hayes for 5th place. Looks like Belky's going to have the advantage on that one. Hayes goes back to 6th. And another incident.
Got a battle for the lead.
Almost 3 wide again. This is up front. That is the 52 of Steve Hilbert. Trey Bloom, the 32 down below. And behind them, that is James Tiernan. Looks like Tiernan's getting a little impatient there with Bloom. Gave him a little nudge going through the corner. Hilbert went high, allowing them to go by. Hilbert back to 3rd as Tiernan continues to pester Trey Bloom for the lead. Bloom gets loose, goes really high up the track. That might be just what Tiernan needed as he dives low and clears into the lead pretty quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, Trey way overdrove that corner, which is very easy to do here at Stafford, being that it's so flat.
It really is. A corner entry is easy to miss. As you see, even James Tiernan got loose in the corner there, trying to ride along the apron. Bloom doing a good job staying on Tiernan's bumper, but as we said, passing is hard to do here without someone making a mistake, and I don't think you're going to see a mistake out of Tiernan. Further back, Austin Belky is cleared up to 3rd. He got around Stephen Hilbert. Hilbert in the green and yellow, number 52. And behind him, that is the 13 of Bobby Hayes. And further back than that, that is the 61 of Tom Hilbert. Why is he important? Because he is the last one in the transfer spot. The car behind him, that's the 87 of Todd Lisson, looking to reel him in, but still really, really loose. If he can pass Tom, he will advance to the feature. If not, he is off to the consolation. Hilbert under a lot of pressure from Hayes, going for that 4th spot. As we are halfway through this heat, still no cautions. Tiernan has now broken away from Trey Bloom. He has almost a full second between himself and 2nd place. And another full second between Bloom and Belky back to 3rd.
Yeah, Tiernan seems to be stuck to the track like glue. He's got, that thing's on a rail. You see these other guys, they seem to be fighting a little bit, but he seems to have that thing under control and just be able to put it wherever he wants it.
It's those new Velcro tires. I got to get me a set of those. As we see here, the 87 of Todd Lisson, he has reeled Tom Hilbert in, and he has 5 laps to make a pass happen if he wants to skip past the consolation. Todd Lisson, very, very loose, but still making a move. Got his nose to the inside, not able to hold it. But it looks like Hilbert's going to give him the lane as Hilbert went up the track. Lisson to the inside in the 87. Hilbert up high in the 61. And Todd Lisson is going to take that last transfer spot away as Hilbert drops back to 7th.
Yeah, I would point out the transfer spot that we're talking about. This season, we're not having anybody stay out of the race this season. This is the first season trying this stuff out. I think they're just kind of feeling out the people up on in the upper positions there. They're trying to figure out how this is all going to work. Next season, we might implement some sort of a you make it in or you go home sort of thing, but it is all 4 positions. Like everything these guys do through these heat races, through the Consi race or last chance race, whatever you want to call it, all determines where you start in the feature. So it is important.
Yeah, every position does matter as far as the final grid on the feature event goes. And like you said, Matt, great point. This is a brand new series, a brand new format for the BRL. The admin kind of threw everything at the wall, and at the end of the season, we're going to find out what's stuck.
So far, it's been putting on a pretty good show. As always, the BRL, I've been with the BRL since its inception and seen a lot of guys come and go, but we got a lot of guys that have been here since that beginning, and it shows how great this league is.
All right, white flag is in the air. Here comes Tiernan around the final corner to take the checkered flag in heat race number 2. Trey Bloom holding off Austin Belky to take 2nd. Belky came home in 3rd. Steve Hilbert, Bobby Hayes, and Todd Lisson will advance directly to the feature.
That's a good race for Trey Bloom. Good to see him have a good race.
he had a lot of speed out there. I'm actually excited to see what he can do in the next round.
Yeah.
And with that, Tom Hilbert, Joe Segala, and Chris Hazlip will advance to the consolation race, which we are starting right now. Small field, 6 drivers did not advance straight through, and here we will see them battle it out for position. Chris Hazlip on the pole with Brian Johnson to his outside. Joe Segala will be in third, with Nathan Guilford in fourth. Tom Hilbert and Brandon Litz will round out this 6-car field. And again, some quick shuffling as it looks like Chris Hazlip is not gridding up. That will give the pole to Joe Segala in the 81. And the drivers will come around for one final pace lap before taking the green flag. Joe Segala and Brian Johnson, I don't know why I want to call him Brandon, Brian Johnson are on your front row. This car peels off. It is now on Joe Segala, coming out of that final corner. Not a great start from Joe. It looks like Brian might have anticipated and kept his car alongside, if not even getting a nose ahead at the line. Joe was able to retake it as Johnson drops back. That was a strange start. It looked like Johnson actually lifted after overtaking for the lead.
Yeah, I think he's afraid of getting black flag there. I know if you jump too far ahead of the leader on the start, you can get a black flag, but I'm not sure if that was the situation there.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because it looked like he definitely lifted and gave the lead back to Joe Segala, which might be a mistake, because now that Joe's out front, I don't think he's going to let that happen again. The top 3 start to break away. That is Segala, Johnson, and Guilford. Hilbert, next car back in the 61. Behind him is Brandon Litz. Chris Hazlip still not on track. He might be having some kind of issue. You see, I couldn't tell if Johnson was looking low there or if he got loose and was trying to catch it. He didn't lose any pace. Oh, he got loose again. He definitely got loose that first time as Guilford gets a nose to the inside off that. And it looks like Guilford's going to have the advantage going into turn 1 and take away second place.
Yeah, that just shows you he got loose for that second, and it heated that right rear up that much to where going into the next corner it was really loose. So after you get a lap back under you, they'll cool back down again, but that quick heat up is a little bit treacherous at times.
Now we get to see what Guilford has under the hood. We don't get to talk about him very much. He always has very quiet races. I'm curious to see what he has for Joe Segala.
Yeah, so far he's showing speed in this race. I think he's going to give Joe a run for his money here.
But yeah, I think unfortunately the 44 doesn't get enough camera time. He doesn't cause enough incidents during the race that we don't focus on him. So he'll get his time in the spotlight now as he's actually taking a look to the inside of Segala. Not able to do it as he got a little squirrely there on corner exit. Let's see if he lines back up for another attempt as we cross the halfway point in the consolation. Looks like Guilford definitely has a speed. He is looking low again. Segala going to shut the door on him. Segala needs to hold on for 7 more laps if he wants to take this win. As we said, all drivers will advance to the feature. This is just for position in the starting grid. But still, I don't know about you, Matt, but a race is a race. I want to win it.
Oh yeah, you still want to win everything. No matter if it's a heat race or the last chance, you that checkered is a checkered.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do. Coming down 6 to go. Segala's still your leader. Guilford not giving him a whole lot of breathing room, though, as they come out of turn 2.
You see, it's just really hard to get a run on somebody to try to pass him here because everybody's running the bottom, and then you try to cut down a little lower, which when you pinch it off like that on exit, you tend to get a little bit loose, and then you lose your momentum. So it really is hard to pass here.
Now, I noticed that Segala is running about a half a lane up from what most of these guys are running tonight. Is there a strategy to that, Matt? Is he trying to keep the temperature out of his tires? Or maybe there's already too much temp in those tires?
You know, I've heard it both ways. I tend to run right around the bottom. Some guys let it drift up a half a lane or so and then cut back down. I've heard people say they'd let it drift up and it helps save their tires some. So I guess it's kind of just preference what you try to run around here.
Well, whatever the reason, it is working for Joe Segala, as he actually is holding and maintaining a decent 0.3 of a second gap ahead of Guilford.
And going off of that, if you're whatever line you're running at this place, as long as you run that same line every lap, it's hard for anybody to get by you because you're not giving them enough room, and you can't really get a run on exit. If you're drifting up a little bit, it's hard for people to get that run.
Yeah, especially at Stafford. It is very hard to get speed on corner exit here. Guilford closed back up. This is the closest he's been in a while as he jams his nose to the inside. Segala tried to close the door. It was too late. A little door banging between the two as Guilford gets a nose ahead.
Yeah, he pretty much just stuffed that car in there.
More contact as Guilford's coming out of the final corner. I think Segala showed some aggression as Guilford takes the win. Joe Segala in second place. Brian Johnson watched the whole thing happen and came home in third. And with that, they will quickly move over to a 5-minute warm-up session just to get a feel for the track, for temperature changes and whatnot. And then we'll move on to our feature event. Well, we have a few moments. Let me try to explain to you people what you're watching right now. This is what we call BRL TV. Obviously, we're highlighting BRL. That's what we're all here for. That's what we all love to do. But it's more than that. BRL TV, it is a broadcasting service thought up by Lowell Jewell, the owner of BRL. And it's aimed at giving up-and-coming commentators, directors, and journalists a place to get their feet wet in the world of sim race broadcasting. If you want to be the guy on the mic calling the action, if you want to be the guy in the production trailer controlling the shots, or maybe you just want to whip up the race recap at the end of the night when everyone's already gone home, hey, this is the place for you. That's exactly what myself and Matt Hoos are doing right now. So if you're interested in getting in on the fun, you want to see if you have what it takes to be in broadcasting, head on over to BRL TV and you can find out how you can join our crew. We'd love to have you.
You know, and speaking of that, Ryan, for those who don't know, I've raced everything here at the BRL for years. And like I said earlier, I've been here since the beginning. But I never thought that I would be up here calling these races like this. But I did. I gave up some of my race time pretty much in the street stock division. I pretty much gave up the street stocks to try to learn this craft or talent or whatever you want to call it. So I'm still learning, but it has been a lot of fun. And if a guy like me can do it, there's many people out there I know that listening that are better at this than I would be.
Yeah, Matt and I are anything but professionals. And if we can do it, so can you. Head on over to BootlegRacingLeague.com and you can find out how, and you will be all set up with all the tools you need, and we'll even set you up with a broadcast. You just have to show up and talk, show up, push buttons, show up and write. Whatever role you're trying to fit into will help you hone your craft. You can see many drivers have already put down a couple good laps. J.R. Shepherd at the top of the tower with a 21.3. Behind him, by the narrowest of margins, well, that's James Tierney. Those two drivers have a long-standing rivalry all this season, I think last season as well, correct me if I'm wrong on that one, where they have battled over the lead in every series that they both run. That would be the Super Late Models, the Street Stocks, the Sportsman Series. It always comes down to one of those two.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. Since I'm in some of those races, I hate that it comes down to just them two, but that's what it usually does. But there's a lot of us that give them a shot every week, and it's just a great place to be race-wise. Up here in the booth, just everything. BRL has so much different stuff here to offer, and for those that are just tuning into this broadcast, maybe you haven't seen the other stuff. This is the Sportsman Series, but this isn't every Saturday, these street stocks. We rotate between the Legends cars, the SK Modifieds, and the street stocks. So every third week, you'll see one of these other series run in this time slot. So it really gets mixed up here at the BRL as far as the different cars and stuff goes.
Yeah, and I love that about the new Sportsman Series. And a sneak peek into next week, it's the bull ring with the Legends, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be a good race. I'm looking forward to that one.
The Legends are never one of my favorite cars. Probably the last car I picked to race, but the bull ring is a great track. It always puts on a great show. So it'll be a good one regardless. With that, we have roughly 30 seconds left in this warm-up before we grid up for the big show, what you're all actually here to see. I'm sure you're not here just to listen to me and Matt talk to each other.
Well, how do you know that? Maybe they all are.
Hey, maybe these drivers don't even have fans. Maybe we're the ones who have the fans. Who knows?
All the Hoosamaniacs out there listening in tonight.
Hoosamaniacs. Oh, I'm going to write that one down. That's a good one. All right, there's a checkered flag on warm-up. The session will now be reset. The drivers will be re-racked, and we'll begin our 50-lap adventure around Stafford. Not a favorite track of mine, but I always seem to have good luck here for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, this track tends to treat me well also. It's not one of my tracks when we say, at the beginning of the season when we see our schedule come out that we're racing at, that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that track. But it does have a good history with me.
All right, with that, let me walk you through our starting grid. J.R. Shepherd, he does on the pole, and right to his outside, his biggest competition, James Tiernan. Matt Chinoski will be starting off in third with Trey Bloom in fourth. Great start to the night for Trey. He had a good run. Bruce Pearson will be in fifth with Austin Belke to his outside in sixth. Brendan Myers will be seventh with Steve Hilbert in eighth. Then back in ninth, that'll be the Canadian John Wilson with Bobby Hayes to his outside. Donnie Moore will be starting from 11th with Todd Liston in 12th. Nathan Gilford 13th with Joe Segala in 14th. Then you'll have Brian Johnson in 15th with Brandon Litz 16th. Tom Hilbert and Chris Hazlett will round out tonight's 18-car field. Good-sized field. And again, unfortunately, it looks like Chris Hazlett is not gridding up. Something's going on. Maybe his connection dropped. That's unfortunate for Chris.
Yeah, it looks like Ronald Lang disconnected here also.
I wasn't even showing him on the grid.
Huh. Anyways, good sized field. Make sure you grab your young ones, take your heart medicine. Here we go. It's about to go green.
Take your heart medicine. All right, pace car has peeled off. It is on Shepherd in the 98. He's waiting. Green flag is out. Very late start for Shepherd. Tiernan actually gets ahead of him. I don't know what happened there. Shepherd recovered, holds onto the lead as he has the inside lane, but I don't understand what I just saw there, Matt. That is almost exactly what happened to Segala earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was just good anticipation on the start from Tiernan and he had to back out of it a little bit.
Looks like there's already contact between these two. They are holding nothing back. The gloves have come off as they are banging against each other. Tiernan gets very loose, slides up the track, and that will make him slot back into second ahead of Shinovsky. But that was a lot of early race aggression we saw coming out of those drivers. The rivalry is still going strong, I can see. Further back, you see John Wilson there in the 75. He is to the inside of Dre Bloom in the 32. Trey is having a rough start as he is stranded on the outside, just bleeding spots one after another. Here comes Donnie Moore behind them. That is Nathan Guilford. Guilford showed a lot of speed in that Constellation. Let's see what he has for Trey here. Looks like Shinovsky is off into the grass. No caution. Racing still green. That backed up a lot of people and got a lot of congestion in the track. Let's see if we can bring up what happened there. Looks like contact between Shinovsky and Myers sent Shinovsky down low. Luckily for Shinovsky, he was able to recover, but he lost a lot of spots. He is now running in 14th. Down 11 spots. That's a big ouch.
Yeah, Shinovsky was up front there for a few laps and looks like he was going to have a good run tonight. It's unfortunate.
Normally don't focus on the front this much, but Kiernan is back on Shepherd's bumper and is applying a lot of pressure. Shepherd just running his line as Shepherd does. And Tiernan's not going to be that patient as the 50 laps can go by very, very quickly. And I think if anything, Tiernan's feeling pressure here because if a caution does come out right now, he has to do the outside restart all over again. And he does not want that.
No, this is one of those tracks where, at least in my case, I'm kind of counting like which position I'm in. And if I'm I always try to stay in an odd position if I can. And especially if you're early in the race, you're just trying you might give up a spot just to be in an odd position in case a caution comes out.
But yeah, starting from the outside in most short tracks. And just like that, the caution flag is out. That is exactly what Tiernan was afraid of, and it happened. Looks like something with Steve Hilbert. Let's go back and see if we can find out what happened to Steve. There you see Hilbert in the green and yellow number 52 up high. That is Shinovsky who just pulled in front of him. Brandon Litz to the inside, and it looks like a little miscommunication there. Steve thought he was clear. Litz thought he wasn't. And he spun enough on the track to bring out the caution before he went down in the grass. That is very unfortunate for Hilbert. He will now be dropping back all the way to, let's see where he got back in. All the way back to 17th. Ooh, he is dead last in the field. That's painful.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was hoping for a better finish for Steve there tonight. I always do. Like to see him improve and get better. Which is kind of the same thing, improve and get better, but
no, and that's a perfect example of the kind of miscommunication you can expect. I mean, Steve's one of the cleanest drivers I've ever raced against. Obviously, he thought he was clear, and Litz just tried to get his nose in there a little late, and that's what happens.
You know, speaking about that, with him getting his nose in there a little late, when you're inside these cars, it's totally different from what we're watching outside here. You might see a car there to your outside, and you think that you're far enough inside that car for them to know that you're there. But when you're actually outside, you're not there, and so somebody could easily mistake that, that they think they're far enough in there. That has happened to me as well.
Well, exactly. It's easy to take our bird's eye view here for granted. The drivers do not have nearly this much visibility on what's going on around their car. Alright, up in the front it is still J.R. Shepherd, James Tiernan second, Bruce Pearson third, Austin Belkey, and John Wilson round out the top 5 as the cars get doubled back up to take the green one more time. As caution laps do not count, it will be starting lap number 10 when they come around to take the flag.
See if Tiernan gets a repeat restart here.
Yeah, I'm still dying to know what is getting the pole sitters on the jump. It did not get Shepherd this time, but Tiernan was able to stay alongside him as the battle continues between these two. Let's see if it gets as unfriendly, I'll say, as it was before. This time, no. Tiernan quickly tucks into second, blocks up Pearson. Tiernan already looking low, trying to get a nose to the inside of Shepherd. Shepherd shut the door on his face. Not going to happen, Shepherd says, he holds on to that lead. Bruce Pearson in third. Belkey back and forth with a bit of a gap there. Further back, Trey Bloom trying to make up some lost spots as he is to the inside of Donnie Moore in the 26. And right behind them, you have a battle between Joe Segala and that's Guilford in 44 down below. This time, Joe Segala stuck on the high side with nowhere to go.
Yeah, when you're outside here, you are just praying for a hole big enough to squeeze that car into.
Well, unfortunately, I don't see one anywhere behind Joe, anywhere in a convenient position, so Joe might just have to hold on until one opens up. Sometimes if you can stay to the outside of someone long enough, the car behind will accidentally open up a little window that you can stick your nose in, but I don't think Shanasi is having any of that tonight. Back up front, that's Donnie Moore in the black number 26 there, chasing down the Canadian John Wilson in the 75. Wilson currently running in 5th. Belkey in the 24, he has closed all the way back up on Bruce Pearson, is looking to take away that last podium spot. But as we keep mentioning, passing is a premium tonight. Catching a guy is one thing, getting around him at Stafford, that is a whole nother animal. And as I say that, Belkey aggressively dives low. Pearson sees the move and blocks him off, holds on to that podium spot. Belkey's still holding on to 4th. Taking a peek back up front, see if the murder has been committed. Not yet. These two continue to chase each other. Shepherd in the lead, Tiernan in second. About a half a car width between them, and it is not adjusted at all since the green flag came back out. I think Tiernan might be just biding his time, letting the laps count down. Now that he knows he can win the jump off a second ahead of the guys behind him, he might be just letting the laps count down until he gets closer to the end.
Yeah, it looks like things have kind of settled down throughout the field here now. It's single file with everybody, so I think the best racing we got right now is just the front two following each other.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of how it goes at Stafford. Once you get into a position, unless you are flat out faster than the guy ahead of you, that's just where you're going to ride for a little while. Stafford is very much a single groove track, and it is demonstrating that perfectly for you right now.
Yeah, I think right now, while we're all single file, it's all nice and neat. I think once we get to that halfway point, about 5-6 more laps here, you're going to see guys starting to make some moves because some of these guys' tires are wearing out. Some of them are, saved a little bit. So
listen,
we'll see a little more racing going on.
Todd, listen, the A7, he just got really loose in the corner, went all the way up to the wall, made a nice little ding there. That allowed Shanowski and Segala to get to his inside. But to make a point of what Matt was just saying, that is exactly what you're going to see more of as these laps count down. Tires get heated. Liston goes high again. More contact in the wall. His tires are already showing excessive wear. He's having a lot of trouble. As you can see, his rear end picking out in the corner still as he's trying to keep that car under control. Back up in third. Bruce Pearson continues to hold off Austin Belkey. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was saying, it looks like Donnie Moore's the big mover so far. They're up 5 spots. You got Wilson right in front of him, up 4 spots, running 5th and 6th then yet.
Now it looks like we have another caution on the track just as Moore was looking low under Wilson. The caution came out. Looks like, unfortunately, it's something to do with Myers and Shinoski. Let's bring it up. There you see Brad Myers getting really, really loose up high, came down. And Shinoski kind of came up into him, maybe not expecting him to be a half a lane down still. And, oh, that was Bobby Hayes in the white number 13. Nowhere to go for Hayes as he just ate the side of Shinoski's car. Riding on board with Hayes. Let's see what he got to see. There you see the contact up ahead of him. He's pretty much blind until this point. Comes down, and there's Shinoski. Nowhere for Hayes to go. That is unfortunate for Bobby. He was having a good run.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate feeling when you see cars spinning and you don't know which way to go.
Yep, by the time the C's part ahead of him, all you saw was smoke and the side of Shinoski.
Well, looks like we're going to be setting up here for a good race here now. We're halfway through this thing. Everybody's tires are going to be cooled back off, and it's go time.
Yeah, we'll be just shy of halfway when the green flag comes back out. Now that we start to see a little more tire wear, let's see how that affects J.R. Shepard and James Tiernan.
Probably not much. They were probably up there saving tires.
Oh, it didn't look like it with all the paint they shared. Alright, lights are out on the pace car. They are double back up. Shepard to the inside, Tiernan to the outside. The outside has been working for Tiernan off the jump. Let's see what he can do this time. We'll be starting lap number 23 when the green flag comes back up. Green flag's out. Shepard got a jump. Not a great jump. Tiernan again stays right alongside him, holding him down. And this time Pearson is staying closer to them. Oh, contact! That is J.R. Shepard around. Oh, we got to bring that back up. I got to see what went down there. I couldn't tell if Tiernan got loose and came down or if they just hooked each other. Either way, that gave the lead of the race to Bruce Pearson. All right, here's a jump coming into the first corner. That is J.R. Shepard down low in the 98. Tiernan up high in the 03. Don't say anything too obvious yet. Shepard's starting to come up. And it looks like Tiernan was just there trying to pinch, but so far back, Shepard couldn't have known he was still that low.
Yeah, I think JR's line is down to the bottom, and then he comes up a little bit, and then back to the bottom. And I think he just came up that little bit, not knowing that Tiernan was trying to squeeze him down in the right rear corner there, and they got together.
Yeah, you would think 23 laps in the books, the one person who would know JR's line better than JR would be the guy who's been following him this entire time. I don't know. I'm going to say it. I don't like it. But the big winner here is Bruce Pearson, 22. He is your new leader.
Did iRacing give Tiernan spot back? I think he did.
Oh, correction. Yes. Thank you, Matt. As the caution laps do not count, that means wherever you are when the caution flag comes out, as long as you are not the incident itself, you get your spot back. So Tiernan just inherited the race lead. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm going to stay professional.
We are professional.
Tiernan, Pearson, Belke, your top three. Moore and Wilson round out the top five. We'll be starting lap number 24 this time by. If I was a braver man, I'd bring JR up here for an interview, but nope, not right now.
Yeah, because this is PGTV.
Yeah, I don't have a bleep button ready, so we can't bring him up in the booth right now. Lights in the pass car go out. Tiernan to the inside. That is Pearson to the outside in the 22. This might be giving Belke a good opportunity to take that second place away. But with the way this has been going with the cautions, I don't know if Belke wants to move up to second quite yet. Green flag's out. Early jump from Tiernan. He clears ahead of Pearson. Belke looks like he got caught napping a little bit as he is not able to close the gap. And Pearson holds on to second place. Donnie Moore also able to slide in. Now the nearest battle you have John Wilson just clearing ahead of Trey Bloom, and here comes Guilford. Wilson gets a little tap, goes off on the grass. Nice recovery, but he is going to lose a lot of spots by the time that gets sorted.
That was an excellent save. A lot of traffic around. That could have been pretty bad.
Now here comes Jared Shepard. He is back to 14th, trying to make the best of tonight. And he is caught behind a 3, almost 4 wide battle ahead of him. Shanowski, now the driver stuck high. That is John Wilson, 75, trying to recover some of his lost spots to the inside, looking to move up to 12. J.R. Shepard directly behind him, trying to follow him through. Up front, Belke closed back in on Pearson, is keeping the pressure high on second place, and that is Donnie Moore, a driver you can never count out. He is riding back and forth, and he is fast in these street stocks. Shepard managed to get by Shanowski and Wilson. He is now up to 11th, making a hard charge back to the front. As Shanowski loses another spot to Brian Johnson in the double O. Shepard again looking low, but that's Steve Hilbert ahead of him this time. He is making a hard charge to the front, but I don't believe there's enough laps for him to get there. And even if he does, after going through all that lap traffic, what are his tires going to look like? Back up front, Austin Belke cleared around Pearson. He is now running in second place. He's up 4 spots from where he started. Big move of the night. Again, just something about street stocks, I guess. Maybe it's Stafford. I don't know, Matt. But we have a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie. 4 different drivers, all up 7 spots. That's Donnie Moore, Nathan Guilford, Joe Segala, and Brandon Litz.
Yeah, we have a lot of single file racing, but there is some passing going on that we just don't catch sometimes because it happens so fast here. And you pretty much make a pass and you got to complete it really fast here.
All right, now Donnie Moore is the one putting the pressure to Bruce Pearson, looking to take away that last podium spot. Pearson doing a fairly admirable job staying on Belke, but not keeping pace. Belke is slowly chipping into the lead with Tiernan. And that is of note as Donnie Moore goes low under Pearson for third. But Belke catching Tiernan is of note for one simple reason. Belke is J.R. Shepard's teammate. I think the 24 might have something to say about what just happened to the 98.
Well, I think what he needs is he needs a caution. We don't want to see one, but he needs a caution to get caught back up there as Tiernan's up front there just riding around right now. I don't think he's doing any damage to his tires. He's just doing what he needs to do to stay a few seconds ahead.
Yep, and with 16 laps to go, a quick update on our Shepherd watch. He is back up to 9th, and he is still making a hard charge, working over Todd Liston for 8th place. Again, the whole field has went single file. Whether he's just cruising around or not, James Tiernan is running the fastest laps of anyone on track right now. Johnny Moore got around to 3rd earlier. You saw that live here. And now he has reeled in Austin Belke, starting to put the pressure for 2nd place. As I say that, JR Shipper goes low and gets around Liston. JR now up to 8th place. Joe Segala, the next car on his hit list.
Unfortunately for JR, I just think there's not enough time if this thing stays green to the end. He's making a valiant effort, but I don't think even JR can overcome that distance.
Well, no, the one big equalizer out here is tire wear. The harder JR pushes, the slower his car is going to be. And even JR Shipper can't overcome that simple fact. So he may be pushing hard, charging to get as many points out of the race as he can get. But I think you're right. The top 5 is just out of his reach.
Yeah, and with Tiernan's case, he just seems to get faster and faster as the race goes on. When tire wears out, he seems to pick up speed. So at this point, the green flag is in his favor.
Yeah, as he has almost a 2-second lead over Austin Belke. It's 1.9 seconds at the line this time by, as we have 10 laps to go. Further up, more trouble for Pearson, holding on to 4th place. He is still up 1 spot from where he started, but Trey Bloom is looking to take that away as he sticks a nose to the inside. Bloom has had a strong run tonight. I'm really glad to see a 32 really coming into his own in the series.
Yeah, he has. He's shown a lot of improvement from when he first started here. He has really picked up the pace, and his driving ability altogether has just gotten tremendously better.
Oh, we see Donnie Moore pulling down. I don't know if he pulled down on his own. Nope, as he is going to rejoin. That was just a convenient spot to get loose, I think.
I think he got loose and used that for an escape route.
You know what? Hey, use what you got. I like it. Let me see if I can find what happened there. There we see Moore, and yep, just got loose all on his own. Got a little over carried away with the throttle there, and yeah, really convenient. I mean, you would swear he did that on purpose. Nice job. I know I lost him a lot of spots, but I'm impressed.
Guess he decided to turn this into a road course.
And as we go back live, he is again spinning through the grass. His tires had not cooled down quite yet.
Yeah, he must have just been wearing them tires out. That's unfortunate. He had gained 8 spots tonight. He was looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bad deal for Moore. He had a good, strong run, good, strong car tonight. But unfortunately, he has come down pit road and looks like he's put it on the trailer. All right, we have 5 laps to go. It is still Tiernan, Belke, Trey Bloom now up to 3rd, Bruce Pearson, and Nathan Guilford rounding out the top 5. JR Shepard has reeled Segala back in, currently running in 7th, looking to take away 6th, and if he's able to, you have 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd, all right there in a group. He might be able to get them all in one sweep.
Yeah, it's just amazing how you know, some of these guys, a couple of these guys anyway, can just set blistering laps past the field and still be fast at the end. It tends to amaze this commentator / racer.
Well, we have Guilford around. He is off the racing surface. I don't think this is going to bring out a caution as he gets turned back around and continues running. And that brought the caution out.
Yeah, it looks like he spun out again trying to get recovered from spinning out.
Yeah, him getting turned around brought the caution out. That is definitely not what Tiernan wanted to see. J.R. Shepherd. Oh, as they're, let me wait for this to update. I almost called him in 4th place. That's not right. He should be 7th, I believe.
Yes, timing and scoring is getting itself sorted out right now.
Yeah, I'm new to the heat formats. Sorry, it's not a typical BRL thing, so when the tower moves on its own, it confuses me a little bit. I'm a simple man. All right, J.R. Shepherd is running in 6th, right behind Joe Segala, rounding out your top 5. All right, this could be good news for JR, but it's still 2 laps is not a lot of time. And on top of that, he's starting from the outside. We all like to say we're friends in the league and we all like to work well together, but I'm sorry, this close to the end of the race, I wouldn't let JR in if I had the inside line.
No, I wouldn't let my teammate in if I had the inside line.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 to go at the line, and yeah, no, sorry, man. Bad luck for you, I guess. Just ahead of JR is Bruce Pearson, the number 22. He'll be starting the outside ahead of JR Shepherd. Not ideal for JR, as Pearson's been falling off these last few laps. There might be more problems for the 98. Either way, however this ends up, JR fell all the way back to the dead last, worked his way back up to 6th on a track that's notoriously hard to pass at. So I just got to tip my hat to J.R. Shepherd, regardless of how this night ends for him.
Yeah, he always seems to make them passes and find a way through.
All right, Tiernan had the fastest laps of the whole field when the caution came out. Let's see if that's going to continue around the last 2 laps. Austin Belke will be to his outside. Trey Bloom up to 3rd. Good for him. I hope he holds that podium. I'd love to get to talk to Trey. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car. The field will get restacked, re-racked. It looks like a little confusion in the field there, as they're not restacking or re-racking. Looks like this is going to be a single file restart. Pace car does peel off. Single file. It is James Tiernan out front. Austin Belke directly behind him. Good jump from the 03. Belke dropped back about a half a second on that jump. Further back, you have Trey Bloom holding off Bruce Pearson, already looking to the inside as Bloom went high. Pearson able to get his nose to the inside, but not able to keep it there as Bloom, again, defends that position. And J.R. Shepherd starts working over Joe Segala for 5th.
Yeah, I believe that single file restart was because we were under 10 to go. I think that's what happens there automatically.
All right, white flag is out. James Tiernan is your leader. Austin Belke 2nd. Trey Bloom still holding on to 3rd ahead of Bruce Pearson. Coming out of the final corner is going to be James Tiernan taking the checkered flag ahead of Austin Belke, Trey Bloom, Bruce Pearson, and Joe Segala rounding out your top 5.
All in all, a good show here tonight.
Yeah, looks like Tiernan got his car off track quickly. Maybe looking to get on the trail before he gets jumped in the pits. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to let timing scoring get caught up, and we'll talk to your podium finishers. Don't go far. And we are back. Here are your official racing results. James Tiernan, the 00, elbows up Sim Sport. He took the checker flag tonight. Pretty much the class act, running the fastest laps all night long. Pretty untouchable. Coming home behind him, that is Austin Belkin in the 24. Trey Bloom in the 32. He came home on your final podium spot. Good run from Trey Bloom. Bruce Pearson in the 22. Well, he's going to come home in fourth. But Joe Segala rounding out your top 5. Great run, Joe. J.R. Shepard, probably the heartbreak of the race. Very unfortunate for JR, but he recovered really strong and finished in 6th. Very, very great finish for J.R. Shepard considering. Todd Liston, he's going to be coming home in 7th, with John Wilson, the Canadian, coming home in 8th. Behind him, you have Brandon Litz and Matt Shinoski rounding out your top 10. Then we have Steve Hilbert in the 52. He came home in 11th with Nathan Guilford in 12th. Brendan Myers, he's 13th, with Tom Hilbert, the older of the Hilbert brothers, in 14th. Bobby Hayes, first car, 1 lap down. He's going to come home in 15th. With Donnie Moore, that unfortunate little shortcut he took through the grass. Well, that's going to end his night early. He comes home in 16th, 6 laps down. Brian Johnson also retired early, 8 laps down to come home in 17th. Chris Hazlett never grid up. Technical issues, we are not sure, but he is going to be the last car in the 18-car field. And with that, it looks like I have caught up to tonight's race winner, James Tiernan. James, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Now, James, you know I got to ask, man. Talk me through the incident. What happened between you and J.R. Shepard?
It's just tough racing going into one. Looks like I was going in. I wasn't coming down on him. He just kind of popped up a little bit. Nonetheless, that's not the way I want to win these things, I want to have good, hard battling, but I just don't want to see that. It's just one of those racing deals, it seems like to me, but, stewards might think otherwise.
Well, that's for higher minds to decide later on down the road. But either way, you were the class act tonight. You had a strong run all night long. Were you ever under any pressure once you got that lead?
Not that I could tell. It seems like I really got these starts and restarts nailed in these cars, and that's just something I viewed from last time and decided to kind of work on prior to heading into this. But, that's definitely not the win I wanted.
Yeah, I know it can be a little bittersweet. I do want to bring you back to the beginning, though. Beginning of the feature, green flag came out. It looked like you beat JR on the jump, and then you lifted. Can you explain what was going on there?
I don't know if I necessarily jumped it. I basically...
No, it looked like he got on the lap pedal first, you beat him, and then you lifted to give him back the lead. I couldn't decide if that was a black flag incident or if you were just being cautious there.
Let me rewatch that here real quick. Oh, no, that was just me shifting, I think.
Oh, okay. You just had a different shift point. That makes a lot more sense because I saw that tonight and it really had me scratching my head. All right, now next week, it'll be the Legends. We're going to the Bull Ring. How are we feeling about the Bull Ring and the Legends?
I have no idea because I don't think I've raced there much. Honestly, I can't even put like a picture to my mind about what the Bull Ring's like, so we'll see. I have some work to do on the Legends cars. I didn't seem to have the pace over a stint that I kind of look for in my racecraft, so we'll see.
All right, James. Well, great run tonight. You got the win. I think that officially makes you the points leader going into round 3. Who would you like to thank for this?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank you and the BRL for putting this all together. This is pretty fun. This is all pretty new to me, so learning every step of the way. And then like to thank everyone at Elbows Up SimSport. I wish I had the sponsors on the car right now, but I don't. So I'll leave that for another broadcast. So right now, I'd like to thank Perrier.
Fair enough. Thank you, Perrier. All right, that was James Tiernan, and that looks like the last of our interviews. No other drivers came up into the staging booth, so we are just going to go ahead and wrap it up from there. If you like what you saw tonight, well, the Sportsman Series will be back on the 29th. This time from the Bull Ring, as I just mentioned, it'll be the Legends. And all the action will go live right back here on this channel at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. But before that one, next Friday at 7:10, Street Stocks. They'll be back at the Bull Ring. It'll be round 5 of Season 27, so make sure you catch that one. It'll be a good show. Everything you've seen and heard here tonight was made possible by the Skidder Creek Motorsports Group. They are home to the Bootleg Racing League, the GT Racing League, Thunder Ridge Racing, the Virtual Grip Network, and more. For more information, visit them over at skiddercreek.com. This has been a production of BRL TV, a broadcasting service aimed at giving up-and-coming commentators, directors, and journalists a place to get their feet wet in the world of sim race broadcasting. If you've ever wondered if you have what it takes to broadcast live races, this is your chance to get some experience without any pressure. If you're interested in getting in on the fun, visit bootlegracingleague.com and you can find out how. Now, from all of us here on the BRL TV crew, myself, Matt Hoos, and Lowell Jewell, until next time, we hope to see you over at the Virtual Grip Network for the Late Model Invitational Series starting in just a few moments. Thanks for watching.